Hello YouTube, welcome to yet another new video. So in today's video, we're taking a look at my thoughts on the 2022 Mainline and how it's turned out to be so far. After I discuss my thoughts, I should be inviting a few friends on for them to talk about it as well. This is the review that I wrote up at the same time as the reviews to the rest of the Mainline, which you can check out my thoughts on the rest of the Mainline. I'll link them in the description. Yeah, this is so long that I thought, why not make an entire video out of this, really. This is some like 2022 carded wall, as you can see here. I hope to increase it more as I find case H, whenever that will be. Yes, let's get right into my thoughts. So this year's Mainline has gotten off to an abhorrent start. The only new release in the first 5 months of the Mainline, Mater with working tow hook, was near identical to the normal Mater. Aside from that, in the first 5 months of the 2022 line, the only other new releases we've gotten are in the NASCAR line, all of which have major flaws. The new variant of NASCAR Light McQueen can barely be considered a new release. It's merely a wheel and expression change, something that would normally be considered a variant in the cars line, not a new release. So for that to be considered one of the 2022 line's best releases by most people, was just sad, and comes to show how little effort Mattel has put into the line this year. NASCAR Bubba Wheelhouse, while a welcome release considering the lack of attention towards Bubba Wheelhouse compared to the other three NASCAR Next Gens, Danny, Ryan and Chase. The sponsor change from Transberry Juice to Talkberry Juice does not make a whole lot of sense. I can understand changing it to avoid offending people, since the prefix trans is most commonly associated with the word transgender nowadays. However, if that's the case, then why would Bubba Wheelhouse be re-released mere weeks later, still sporting the re-release be revealed mere weeks later, I should say, still sporting the Transberry Juice decals? If they really wanted to do away with Transberry Juice, wouldn't they simply not re-release any of the cars with Transberry Juice decals at all, which are the three races plus Mike's stock car and CB? Rowdy Revan Bush. Whilst I will admit I love his look and I'm really glad he was made, couldn't a different NASCAR release have been assigned to HTB? Cole Bush's Rowdy's nickname is literally the Candyman. Why wasn't Rowdy Revan Bush a Taco Next Gen? Only just recently we've got our first two proper new releases in the main line, those being Jay with VR headset and Keith Cone. We have two more previewed, which are the Clown Pity from Cars on the Road and Cars on the Road Lightning McQueen. Lightning McQueen itself looks really boring, just a simple repaint of Cars for Lightning McQueen, which is quite disappointing. The Clown Pity looks really nice, so it'll actually probably be my favourite release this year. Once he is released, so I'm going to be really glad to see him on shelves. Hopefully he'll be in a single, not a 2-pack. So, I cannot fault Keith Cone. I'm personally really happy we got another new release from the original Cars movie, following on from Derek Williams and Sarah Wilson last year. However, the sole problem I have with Joe with VR headset is I named him Sudeep with VR headset. Another example of poor quality control on the re-release of Lightning McQueen was signed was actually just right here, in which Lightning is spelled as Lighntning. Really, Mattel? I don't even need to explain how that's just sad. Seriously, you can do better, guys. The card condition of this year's diecast is also horrible. Very few diecasts I have found this year on a perfect card, contrary to 2018 to 21, where almost every diecast I found was on a perfect card. Hell, I've unboxed fresh 2022 cases where the cards have already been bent, folded, and torn to hell and back before I've even opened the case. And the problem I have with this year's main line are the environmentally friendly blisters. I understand why it has to be done, however, to have all these blows dealt to us at the same time just really sours the taste even more of this year's main line. It is apparent that Mattel's been cutting a lot of costs in recent times when it comes to the car's main line, and I, plus many others, find it rather frustrating that the prices remain sky high yet the quality only decreases, especially with both the move to Thailand in 2018 and the quality decrease in regards to the packaging this year. Additionally, Mattel has severed their oath to never re-release a chase, with Lee Race being re-released this year, which is extremely lazy on Mattel's part. Mini Races singles have also fallen dramatically in quality, with only one new release per wave, contrary to 6 new releases per wave in 2020 and 4 in 2021, with the exception of 2021 Wave 4, which had 5 new releases. The new releases in Waves 1, 2, and 3 this year, which are Hot Rod Junior Moon, Dragon Lightning McQueen, and Jonas Carvers, have all been repaints too. Would it really kill you to throw in a few new repaints in each wave at the very least instead of just one? Stock cars, next gens, metallics, silvers, golds, and possibilities are endless. However, the mini races 3 packs are only improving this year, with a larger focus on both new molds and releases, and releasing mini races from the first 2 movies. Some great new releases such as Grey, DJ, and Infinite Missile. On a slightly more positive note, this year has also brought us some great re-releases such as Anti-Vaporlock, Otis, Bubble Wheelhouse, Damaged King, and the accurate model Sally. It is also quite nice to see deluxes go back to being released in cases of 6, contrary to cases of 4. I don't have much hope for the Cars on the Road releases, because Cars on the Road Light McQueen, and how bland and boring he looks. So this was written before the Clan Pity was released, and it does give me a bit more hope because of how nice he is. I mean, not even the expression was changed on Cars on the Road Light McQueen. I do think this is the year the line has finally begun to crumble due to COVID, with a very poor distribution and the overall state of the Mainline just in tatters. Overall, this has undoubtedly been the worst year for diecast, and I fear that it won't improve much at all. I rated a 3.5 out of 10. Now we're going to hand over to 4 of my good friends and fellow Collectors Link members, Sensei Luminous, EpicGreenThunder, World Renowned Turbo Tractor, and Crazy Cars Canada. We're going to get their thoughts on the 2022 Mainline.
Alright, Sensei Luminous here to discuss my thoughts on the 2022 Mainline. Thanks AstroSmokey for having me on. And, it sucks. I'm sorry, that's my genuine thoughts on this line. We've had some good re-releases. I will admit, the re-release game is on point this year. We got the, Rusty Cars, we got the, Race Fans, we got Otis, we got Winford Bradford Rutherford in the correct packaging with his correct artwork and name. Haha, yes! And we also have, Maldorado, Lee Race, who's a whole nother discussion entirely. He's a Sace that got re-released, which is a no-no, a huge no-no. But he'd be a good re-release if he wasn't a Sace, that's my point. My point is that the re-release game is on point. What isn't on point is the new release game. So far, we've only gotten half a dozen, I think. And that's going off of what I know off the top of my head, so I could be wrong. But we have Keith Cohn, the brown minivan, who's also known as Camera Hog Fan. He's pretty good. He just hasn't reached my area yet. He just came out, though. Roddy Revan Bush, who's also pretty good in the NASCAR line. However, the distribution for that line has been god-awful since the first 2022 wave, and I have not seen a single Rowdy in the stores. So, rip him, I guess. He's not here. Then we have NASCAR Bubba, NASCAR McQueen with the updated next-gen tires. Those are pretty good, but they're only available stateside, I think, in the United States. I don't think they're available elsewhere, which blows, because they're some of the best new releases this year. Then we have Shoot with VR headset, as the packaging calls him. He is Zay. This is Zay with VR headset. Mattel screwed up on that. Also, no new logo, because the new logo was only on Mater. What? Yeah, he has an extra bit of plastic, but this is just a retool. This is just an updated casting. He didn't need to be marked as new. They're going all in with this gimmick and re-releasing cars like Damage the King. I forgot to mention him. And all the McQueens have it too. And it's just like, what? How is Mater the only one who got the new marking so far, and Zay and Keith Cohn didn't? It's just, no. Hopefully, the main line improves. With On the Road coming out, we have had the Clown Pity leak from that, I believe. If you've been on the right sources. I hope to God there's more new releases. If there isn't, well, this year's gonna suck. Because new releases are what bring in the returning customers. Lose the returning customers, and you lose a sizable chunk of the fan base. Anyway, that's my long-winded rant over. Sensei Luminous out, and again, thank you to AstroSmokey for having me on.
What's up? Thanks for having me on. You want me to talk about the 2022 Mainline? Well, I will talk about the 2022 Mainline. As I'm sure most of everyone pretty much has noticed, and I don't know if I'm the first person to speak in this video or not, but I'm sure if I'm not the first person, they have definitely mentioned that so far it's been pretty lackluster. You have, actually, at this point you have 2 new Mainline releases. You do have a few releases in the NASCAR line that are new, in Rowdy Revan Bush, as well as the Bubble Wheelhouse NASCAR version. Lightning McQueen is technically a new variant with the new wheels, but it's not like a true new car. You also have that Mater with hook, I mean, it's not any different. They just labeled it as new, I guess, because it has the tow hook now, or it has a working tow hook. But I don't think that's really new. Apparently, the Damaged King is actually going to have a tow hook as well, or a connecting hook as well for a tow truck, so that's pretty cool. But yeah, it's been relatively lackluster with only 2 new actual mainline releases, that being Jay with VR headset, who they couldn't even label right. They labeled it as Sadiq with headset. But you also have a very cool new release in Keith Cone, also known as Camera Hog Fan, who appeared in Cars Number 1, trying to hog the camera, and I think that's one of the best releases in a good while. But apart from that, there is almost nothing. But what I do like to see is that they're focusing more on Cars 1 and 2. In terms of the mainline, about not even like a third are actually Cars 3 so far, in terms of singles at least. In 2-packs, it's about a similar proportion. Okay, about the 2-packs, the Krusty Rotor and Floyd Mulvihill pack, very cool. I like that one. There's also Barney Stormin in the Deluxe's line, which is a really nice one. But I mean, I think it's really nice that they're focusing on the Cars 1 and 2 lines right now. But to do that, you actually need some interesting stuff. And right now, they don't have a whole lot of interesting stuff, but there is about to be a lot of that interesting stuff, because On the Road is about to take over the main line, probably in the next few weeks. Dana Crankoff, I don't know if that's an On the Road car or not. That was supposed to be the first new release of the year, and she got kind of canceled. Same with the Mechanic Yoriyuki and a Goggle Pity Pack, and those both got canceled. We haven't seen them, but I think they will make an appearance later towards the On the Road time, because I think they're On the Road cars. We've already seen the Clown Pity, and we've had new stuff like Firefight McQueen, Firefight Ram, which is probably Ramon. You also have Tractor with Tire. Those are all going to be coming later this year, as well as like Speed Demon, I think. Maybe, I don't know. I think that was just a rumor. I think there's like a bunch of Salt Flats cars that's supposed to be coming. I wouldn't be surprised to see that Speed Demon car either, but those on-the-road cars are going to be in the main line, and they're going to just blow it out of the water. They're going to make this kind of lackluster one so far very, very good. And I think even before we get to the on-the-road cars, it's going to be good, because we just saw last 2 cases, boom, Jay with VR headset, boom, Keith Cone, as well as other new cars like Cruise with the Fire Barrel, which technically isn't new, but, I mean, it's there. Damage to the King is a really cool re-release. And we don't actually know quite what's going to be in the next few cases before On the Road, and I think there's going to be some new stuff. Those are my thoughts. TLDR, too long didn't read. It is pretty good, or it is pretty mediocre right now with a few very bright spots, but it's about to have a whole lot of bright spots, and even in a few years down the line, we're not even going to remember how bad it was at the start. Thanks for listening. Pass you on. Pass it up. Yeah. That's a bad ending. Peace.
So far, the 2022 Mainline has been underwhelming despite having a number of desirable re-releases such as Murray Clutchburn, Donna Pitts, and Miles Axelrod with Microphone. While a lot of these have been nice, the lack of new releases, at least for me, has been disappointing. However, if this means we will be getting loads of new releases for the Cars on the Road series, which I'm hoping is the case, the wait is definitely worth it for me, and I hope that's what we will get. And it appears we will, due to some leaked listings. Things are starting to look up though, as we've seen our first brand new release this year being Jay with VR headset and Keith Cone. While they're not stellar, they are pretty decent, and Mattel appears to have put some quality work designing the two. As far as upcoming re-releases, Mattel has proved that they are full of surprises, with re-releases that have got me stoked. We will be getting a re-release of the ultra-rare Race Damage King, even after many people speculated Race Damage cars would not be coming back. Also, for the first time, they are re-releasing a chase car, that being none other than Lee Race. This is interesting, and though it seems a bit strange and possibly disappointing for some, I'm hopeful other chases will be released as well so that those like me can have a chance to pick them up when they didn't before. Earlier in the year, I definitely was not getting much enjoyment out of the 2022 Mainline as a collector, but with lots of potential new releases coming with the On the Road series as well as some solid re-releases, things are beginning to look up for me, and I have hopes that it will be a good year after all. Hopefully the wait for the new releases will be worth it once we see what we will be getting. Thank you, AstroSmokey, for letting me join on this topic.
Hey everyone, it's Crazy Cars Canada here, and first off, I just want to thank AstroSmokey for giving me this opportunity to be in this video. I really do appreciate it, man. And this video is about like my initial thoughts on the 2022 Mainline so far, and I'm just gonna say it. I do think that it is pretty good. I'm just gonna get straight to the point here, saying that it is good. Obviously, if you got somebody like Disney Docket who has a lot of like these older cars, then obviously it's not going to be as appealing to him. But me personally, I do think that it is a very good Mainline, just in general. First off, the car looks very nice. I know it's not just about car art, but it's also about the diecast, obviously. But still, the car art looks great. Some great variety of cars, I must say. Like, you even got some re-releases of, like, Damage the King, right? Like, that's ridiculous. You got Brad Windmiller, I think that's how you say his name. Then you got Finish Line Lightning McQueen. Then you got Cruz Ramirez's Francis Beltline, Lee Race, Mel Dorado. And there's just so many good cars that I haven't picked up because I haven't been collecting cars for a long time, right? But then you got some new cars like Keith Cone for something, or also known as the Camera Hog fan. So, in my opinion, I do think that it is a pretty good Mainline for kind of young collectors like me. Obviously, I do have quite a lot of cars, but when there are the really re-releases from quite a few years ago, it is definitely very nice for me to pick those up. But then you also have people like AstroSmokey and Disney Docu who have so many diecasts already. They're just looking for the new cars, right? Well, I can see where they're coming from, but this is just about my initial thoughts on the Mainline. So, I would say a lot more leaks coming in the future, as we just saw with like Firefighter Lightning McQueen. So that's gonna be pretty interesting to see what that is. But all I'm gonna say is thank you, AstroSmokey, for having me in your video. I really do appreciate it. And that is just my initial thoughts on the Mainline. See you guys.
Thank you to the four of you for the videos you contributed. Really enjoyed listening to them and hearing their perspectives on the 2022 Mainline. Both good and bad, and especially Crazy Cars Canada. It certainly did help to give me a better understanding of why people might like the 2022 Mainline, even though I personally do not like it at all. But it was really good to hear some more perspectives and just overall gather more of an opinion on what people think of the Mainline. So I hope you guys all enjoyed the video. Let me know if any thoughts you have on what both myself and the other Collectors Link members I've invited on today have said. And I do hope you all have enjoyed. So please remember to like, subscribe, comment, favourite, share. Comment your thoughts on the 2022 Mainline down below. Good, bad, or otherwise. And I will see you all in the very next video.